Before the arrival of Europeans in 1769, the Los Angeles Basin was home to the Tongva people, also known as the Gabrielino. They had lived in the region for thousands of years, establishing a sophisticated and deeply rooted culture. The Tongva organized themselves into autonomous villages, each led by a chief, and their territory extended from the San Gabriel Mountains to the Pacific Ocean, including the Channel Islands. They spoke a Uto-Aztecan language and had a rich oral tradition, complex social structures, and spiritual beliefs centered on nature and the cosmos. The Tongva economy was based on hunting, fishing, and gathering, and they crafted tools, baskets, and canoes, called tiats, for trade and travel. Their trade networks stretched throughout Southern California, connecting them with other indigenous groups. Despite living sustainably and in harmony with their environment, the Tongva would soon face dramatic upheaval with the arrival of Spanish colonists, leading to widespread disease, forced labor, cultural suppression, and displacement. Spanish colonization of the Los Angeles area began in 1769, when explorer Gaspar de Portola led the first European land expedition into what is now California. The Spanish crown aimed to expand its empire northward to prevent Russian and British encroachment, using a system of missions, presidios, military forts, and pueblos, civilian towns. In 1771, Mission San Gabriel Arcangel was founded by Franciscan priest Junipero Serra, becoming a center for religious conversion and agricultural development. The mission system forcibly relocated and converted local indigenous populations, including the Tongva, who were compelled to abandon their traditional way of life and work for the mission under harsh conditions. In 1781, the Spanish established El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, La Reina de los Ángeles, later simply Los Angeles, with 44 settlers of diverse racial backgrounds, including indigenous, African, and Spanish ancestry. These settlers, known as Los Pobladores, built the town as a small farming community to support the nearby mission and military outposts. The Spanish period introduced European-style agriculture, livestock, and Catholicism to the region, but also initiated the destruction of indigenous cultures and societies. This era laid the foundations for urban development, land ownership patterns, and cultural blending that would influence the region for centuries to come. In 1821, Mexico gained independence. From Spain and California, including Los Angeles, became a Mexican territory. Under Mexican rule, significant changes occurred in the region, especially with the secularization of the Spanish missions in the 1830s. This process involved the redistribution of mission lands, which were intended for indigenous communities, but were largely granted to private individuals, resulting in the rise of powerful ranchos owned by Californio families, Mexican settlers of Spanish descent. Los Angeles grew into a small but important regional center for cattle ranching and trade, with its economy revolving around hides and tallow, often exchanged with foreign ships along the coast. The population remained relatively small and diverse, including Californios, indigenous laborers, and a few foreign immigrants. Politically, the area was loosely governed from Mexico City, and local officials often had substantial autonomy. Although the region was distant from the central Mexican government, tensions grew due to internal instability in Mexico and increasing interest from the United States. By the 1840s, American settlers and traders were becoming more common in California, setting the stage for conflict and eventual annexation. The Mexican era in Los Angeles was marked by both opportunity for landowners and deepening marginalization of indigenous people, whose lands and rights continued to erode. Between 1846 and 1848, Los Angeles and the rest of California were caught up in the Mexican-American War, a conflict driven by the United States' desire to expand westward. In 1846, U.S. naval forces captured key Californian ports, including Los Angeles, as part of a broader campaign to take control of Mexican territories. Although the U.S. initially took Los Angeles without much resistance, local Mexican residents, known as Californios, soon revolted and temporarily recaptured the city. This led to a series of skirmishes, including the Battle of Dominguez Rancho and the Siege of Los Angeles. In early 1847, American forces returned and defeated the Californios in the Battle of La Mesa. Soon after, the Treaty of Cahuenga was signed, ending fighting in California and effectively placing the region under U.S. military control. The formal end of the war came with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848, in which Mexico ceded a vast amount of territory, including California, to the United States. As a result, Los Angeles transitioned from Mexican to American rule, becoming part of a rapidly expanding U.S. frontier. This shift brought new political structures, an influx of settlers, and significant changes in land ownership and governance, fundamentally transforming the region's social and economic fabric. After the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848, California officially became a part of the United States, and the region, including Los Angeles, entered a period of rapid change. The discovery of gold that same year triggered a massive migration to California, although most of the activity was concentrated in the northern part of the state. Los Angeles remained a small town but began to grow steadily. In 1850, California was admitted to the Union as the 31st state, and Los Angeles was incorporated as an American city. The American legal and political systems replaced the previous Mexican structures, and many Californios lost their land due to legal disputes, new property laws, and rising American influence. The late 19th century brought more settlers, improved infrastructure, and the arrival of the railroad, which connected Los Angeles to the rest of the country and helped it develop into a significant agricultural and trade hub. Over time, the discovery of oil, the expansion of the port, and the rise of industries like film and aviation would transform Los Angeles into one of the most important and dynamic cities in the United States. The American period marked a time of economic opportunity and growth, but also intensified displacement of indigenous communities and the marginalization of earlier Mexican residents.